Nothing says forever like $15 wine spritzers and my wife's ex-boyfriend smirking at me over Costco shrimp. The anniversary party was Jennifer's idea, naturally. 20 years of marriage deserved celebration, she said. What she meant was 20 years of marriage deserved an audience. I'm Jake Morrison, 43 years old, owner of Morrison Security Solutions. That's a fancy name for a guy who installs alarm systems and fixes broken locks. Jennifer calls it blue-collar work when she's feeling generous. Tonight, surrounded by her startup friends in their designer clothes, I could practically hear the condescension crackling through the air like static electricity. Jake, you remember Brad, don't you? Jennifer's voice carried that particular pitch she used when she was performing for an audience. Brad Hoffman, 6'2", CrossFit enthusiast, and my wife's college boyfriend who'd somehow wormed his way back into our social circle 6 months ago. Hard to forget, I said, accepting his overly firm handshake. Brad's smile was all teeth, like a shark who'd learned to walk upright and wear expensive suits. Great party, man. Jennifer really outdid herself. Brad's eyes never quite met mine. They kept drifting over my shoulder, scanning the room for more important people to impress. The community center Jennifer had rented buzzed with conversation and laughter. Her tech startup crowd mixed uneasily with my handful of friends, mostly guys from the boxing gym and my cousin Danny, who looked uncomfortable in his off-duty cop clothes. The divide was obvious. Jennifer's people clustered around the wine table, talking about venture capital and disruption. My people hugged the wall, nursing beers and checking their phones. Jake's been working so hard lately, Jennifer announced to a circle of her girlfriends. Her best friend Amanda laughed, a sound like wind chimes in a hurricane. Well, someone has to keep the lights on while Jennifer builds her empire, Amanda said. The group tittered. I'd known Amanda for 15 years, watched her climb the social ladder one rung at a time, leaving broken friendships in her wake. She had this way of delivering insults wrapped in compliments, like poison in pretty packaging. Actually, business has been good, I said. Just landed a contract with 3 new office buildings downtown. That's nice, dear. Jennifer patted my arm like I was a dog who'd performed a simple trick. Her attention was already elsewhere, drawn to Brad, who was regaling another group with some story that involved lots of hand gestures and manufactured excitement. I retreated to the bar, where Tommy Chen was working his second job. Tommy owned a small restaurant and moonlighted at events to make ends meet. Unlike everyone else here, he actually seemed happy to see me. Rough crowd tonight, he said, sliding me a beer. Jennifer's friends. What can you do? You could always spike the punch. Tommy grinned. Just kidding. Mostly. From across the room, I watched my wife laugh at something Brad said. Her hand lingered on his arm just a fraction too long. The gesture was subtle, but I'd been married 20 years. I knew Jennifer's body language better than I knew my own. Jake! Amanda's voice cut through the noise. Come settle a debate for us. I walked over, beer in hand, to find Amanda holding court with Jennifer and 3 other women I barely knew. Their faces wore that particular expression women get when they're about to say something they think is hilarious, but probably isn't. We were just talking about backup plans, Amanda said, her eyes glittering with mischief. You know, like backup careers, backup investments. Jennifer was saying she's got a backup husband lined up just in case. The group erupted in giggles. Jennifer's face flushed red, but she was laughing too. Amanda, stop it. What? It's practical. Every smart woman should have options. Amanda's gaze found Brad across the room, especially when the backup is such an upgrade. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. The words hit me like a punch to the gut, but I kept my expression neutral. 20 years of marriage teaches you to absorb a lot of punishment without showing it. Jennifer was still laughing, not even bothering to deny it. Well, I said, setting down my beer, if she's got a backup husband, I guess she doesn't need the original anymore. I pulled off my wedding ring, the simple gold band Jennifer had picked out when we were young and stupid and thought love conquered everything. The metal was warm from my skin, worn smooth by 2 decades of wear. The group went quiet. Jennifer's laughter died in her throat. "Jake, what are you doing?" I walked across the room, the ring feeling heavier with each step. Brad was in the middle of another story, gesturing wildly with a wine glass in his hand. He didn't notice me approaching until I was right beside him. "Brad." I held out the ring. "Tag in, buddy. She's all yours now." The room went silent. Not movie silent, where you can still hear background music. Actually silent, like someone had sucked all the sound out of the air. Brad stared at the ring like it might explode. "Jake, what are you— 20 years, I said, loud enough for everyone to hear. 20 years I've been married to a woman who apparently thinks I'm replaceable. Well, congratulations, Jennifer. Consider yourself replaced." I dropped the ring into Brad's wine glass. It hit the bottom with a small clink that seemed to echo in the silence. Jennifer pushed through the crowd, her face white. "Jake, please, you're making a scene." "No, honey, you made the scene. I'm just providing the soundtrack." I walked toward the exit, feeling 50 pairs of eyes boring into my back. Behind me, voices erupted in excited chatter. Someone was probably already posting about this on social media. By tomorrow, I'd be the laughingstock of Jennifer's entire social circle. Funny thing was, I didn't care. Outside, the October air was crisp and clean. I sat in my truck for a moment, hands shaking slightly as I tried to process what I'd just done. 20 years of marriage ended with a dramatic gesture that would have made Jennifer proud if it hadn't been directed at her. My phone buzzed. Text message from Jennifer. "Come back inside. We need to talk." I deleted it without responding and drove home. The house felt different when I walked in. Same furniture, same pictures on the walls, same creaky floorboard by the kitchen door. But something fundamental had shifted. This wasn't my home anymore. It was just a place where I kept my stuff. I was in the garage, throwing clothes into a duffel bag, when I heard Jennifer's car pull into the driveway. She came through the kitchen door like a small tornado, still wearing her party dress and the expression of someone who'd been thoroughly embarrassed in front of her friends. "What the hell was that, Jake?" That was me finally growing a spine. "You humiliated me, in front of everyone." "I humiliated you?" I laughed, but there wasn't any humor in it. "Jennifer, you just told a room full of people that you've got a backup husband. How exactly did I humiliate you?" "It was a joke. Amanda was just being Amanda." Amanda was being honest, for once. I zipped up the bag and slung it over my shoulder. "I'm staying at the gym for a while. We'll figure out the rest later." "Jake, don't do this. We can work through this." I stopped at the door and looked back at her. She was crying now, mascara running down her cheeks. For a moment, I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. 20 years, Jennifer. 20 years I've been the reliable one, the steady one, the one who pays the bills while you chase your dreams, and the whole time you've been shopping for an upgrade. That's not true. Isn't it? When's the last time you looked at me like you look at Brad? When's the last time you laughed at something I said the way you laugh at his stories? She didn't have an answer for that. I left her standing in the kitchen and drove across town to Murphy's boxing gym. The place was closed, but I had a key. Murphy had given it to me 3 years ago when I started helping with the books. The gym was my refuge, the one place where being practical and reliable actually meant something. I set up a cot in the office and tried to sleep, but my mind kept replaying the evening. The look on Brad's face when I dropped the ring in his wine. Jennifer's shock. Amanda's delighted expression as she watched the drama unfold. Around midnight, my phone buzzed with a notification. Someone had tagged me in a video on social media. Against my better judgment, I opened it. There I was, in grainy phone video, dropping my wedding ring into Brad's wine glass. The caption read, "When keeping it real goes wrong." It already had 50 likes and a dozen comments, most of them laughing at my expense. I turned off the phone and stared at the ceiling. Tomorrow this would be all over town. By next week it would be forgotten, replaced by some new piece of gossip. But the marriage was over. That much was clear. What wasn't clear was what came next. I woke up to the sound of my phone buzzing like an angry wasp. 7 a.m., and I already had 23 missed calls, 46 text messages, and more social media notifications than I cared to count. The video from last night had gone viral in our small town's ecosystem. Nothing travels faster than gossip in a place where everyone knows everyone else's business. The first text was from my daughter Emma. "Dad, what the hell? My friends are sending me videos of you freaking out at Mom's party." Emma was 19, home from college for the weekend, and had inherited her mother's talent for making everything about her. She'd left the party early with some friends, missing the main event. Lucky her. The second text was from Murphy, the gym owner. "Saw the video. You can stay as long as you need. Coffee's in the office." That's why I liked Murphy. 60-year-old former boxer who understood that sometimes life hits you harder than any opponent ever could. I made coffee and scrolled through the comments on the video. Most were predictably awful. Dudes having a midlife crisis. Feel bad for the wife. This is why I stay single. But a few surprised me. Good for him. About time someone called out cheaters. Team Jake all the way. My phone rang. Jennifer. "Jake, you need to see what Amanda posted." I hung up and found Amanda's social media page. She'd posted a follow-up video, filmed after I left the party. In it, she was consoling Jennifer while providing commentary like some sort of relationship expert. "I mean, we all saw this coming," Amanda was saying to the camera. "Jake's been struggling with Jennifer's success for years. Some men just can't handle strong, independent women." The comments on that video were even worse. Jennifer was being painted as the victim of an unstable husband who couldn't handle her ambition. Brad was nowhere to be seen in the video, naturally. I was in the middle of reading the comments when the gym door opened. Danny walked in, still in his police uniform from the night shift. "Rough night?" he asked, taking in my makeshift bed and the phone in my hand. "Getting worse by the minute." I showed him Amanda's video. Danny watched it twice, his expression getting darker each time. What a piece of work. She's rewriting history in real time. Jennifer's going along with it. Jennifer's trying to save face. Can't say I blame her, but throwing you under the bus isn't the answer. Danny poured himself coffee from Murphy's perpetually full pot. "So what's the plan?" "Plan? Come on, Jake. I've known you since we were 12. You don't do anything without a plan. You're probably 3 moves ahead already." He wasn't wrong. I'd been lying awake since 4 a.m., thinking through possibilities. Jennifer wanted to control the narrative, paint me as the unstable one while she played the wronged wife. Amanda was helping her do it, probably enjoying every minute of the drama. "I need to know how long this has been going on," I said. "The thing with Brad? The thing with Brad, the thing with Amanda manipulating situations, all of it. I need to understand what I'm dealing with." Danny nodded. "Want some unofficial help with that?" "What kind of help?" "The kind where I happen to be in the neighborhood and happen to notice things. Purely coincidental observations." I appreciated the offer, but I had a better idea. "Actually, I think I can handle this myself. I've been installing security systems for 15 years. I know how to observe people without them knowing. Just don't do anything illegal." Wouldn't dream of it. After Danny left, I showered in the gym's locker room and drove home to get clothes for work. Jennifer's car wasn't in the driveway, but Brad's BMW was parked across the street, subtle as a brick through a window. I let myself in through the back door and went upstairs to pack a proper suitcase. From the bedroom window, I could see Brad sitting in his car talking on the phone, probably coordinating with Jennifer about when the coast would be clear. In the closet, I found something interesting. Jennifer had always been obsessive about organization, but there was a shoebox shoved behind her winter coats that I'd never seen before. Inside were printed emails, receipts, and what looked like financial documents from her startup. I didn't have time to read everything, but I photographed each page with my phone. Whatever this was, Jennifer had been hiding it. And if she was hiding financial documents, that suggested problems with the business she'd been claiming was so successful. My phone buzzed. Text from Jennifer. "Brad saw your truck. Please don't cause more drama." I texted back, "Just getting clothes. Your boyfriend can relax." 20 minutes later, I was in my office, looking through the photos I'd taken. The documents told an interesting story. Jennifer's startup was hemorrhaging money. They were 3 months behind on rent, hadn't paid several vendors, and were desperately seeking new investors. The emails showed Jennifer authorizing payments to herself and her partners that seemed excessive given the company's financial state. I wasn't an accountant, but I knew enough about business to recognize a company in trouble. Jennifer had been projecting success while the whole thing was collapsing. The stress might explain why she'd been so eager to reconnect with Brad, but it didn't excuse the humiliation she'd put me through. My first appointment was at a new office building downtown. The property manager, Carol Stevens, had requested a comprehensive security system upgrade. Carol was in her 50s, professional, and had no patience for nonsense. "You look like hell," she said when I arrived. "Rough night." "I saw the video. Half the town's talking about it." She led me through the building, pointing out areas where she wanted cameras installed. "For what it's worth, I think your wife's friends are awful. Amanda especially. You know Amanda? She applied for a job here last year. Didn't get it. Something about her references didn't check out." Carol stopped at a corner office and turned to face me. "Jake, I'm going to give you some advice. When someone shows you who they really are, believe them." "Meaning?" "Meaning your wife just showed you exactly how much respect she has for you. The question is, what are you going to do about it?" I spent the morning installing cameras and thinking about Carol's words. By lunch, I had a plan. Not revenge, exactly. More like strategic information gathering. I drove to Jennifer's startup office, a converted warehouse space downtown that tried too hard to look innovative. Through the large windows, I could see Jennifer at her desk, talking animatedly with 2 men in suits. Potential investors, probably, based on their body language and the way Jennifer was gesturing at charts and graphs. One of the men was shaking his head. The other was checking his phone like he'd rather be anywhere else. Whatever Jennifer was selling, they weren't buying. I parked across the street and waited. 20 minutes later, the men left without shaking hands or exchanging business cards. Jennifer sat alone at her desk, head in her hands. My phone rang. "Emma." "Dad, I need to talk to you." "I'm listening." "Not on the phone. Can you pick me up? I'm at Mom's." "Is Brad there?" "No, he left an hour ago. Dad, there's stuff you need to know." I found Emma waiting on the front porch, a serious expression on her face that reminded me of Jennifer at that age. Emma had always been caught between us, trying to be loyal to both parents while navigating her own life. "Get in," I said. "Let's go somewhere we can talk." We drove to Riverside Park, the same place where I'd taught Emma to ride a bike and throw a baseball. The October afternoon was warm enough to sit at a picnic table overlooking the water. "Mom's been crying all morning," Emma said. "But she's also been on the phone with Amanda, and they're planning something." "What kind of something?" "They want to make you look unstable. Amanda thinks if they can prove you're having some kind of breakdown, it'll explain away the whole ring thing." "How exactly do they plan to do that?" Emma looked uncomfortable. "Amanda wants Mom to file a police report. Say you've been threatening her or something." The words hit me like cold water. "Emma, I would never—" "I know, Dad. I told Mom it was crazy, but Amanda keeps pushing. She says it's the only way to protect Mom's reputation. What did your mother say? She's scared. The business is falling apart. Brad's not as interested as she thought he'd be, and now everyone's talking about her marriage. Amanda's convinced her that you're the problem that needs to be solved. I stared out at the river, watching leaves float downstream. Jennifer and Amanda were escalating this beyond anything I'd imagined. A false police report could destroy my business, my reputation, everything I'd built. Emma, I need you to do something for me. What? I need you to record your conversations with your mother and Amanda, not to hurt anyone, but to protect myself. Emma nodded slowly. I already started. I recorded Amanda this morning when she was coaching Mom on what to say to the police. You did? Dad, I'm not stupid. I know Amanda's manipulative, and I know Mom's desperate. I also know you'd never hurt anyone. Emma pulled out her phone. Want to hear what they're planning? The recording was damning. Amanda's voice, clear as day, instructing Jennifer on how to make me sound threatening and unstable, how to reframe our argument as intimidation, how to use the viral video as evidence of erratic behavior. This is evidence of conspiracy to file a false police report, I said. What are you going to do? I'm going to give them exactly what they're expecting, and then I'm going to show them what a real breakdown looks like. Emma looked worried. Dad, don't do anything crazy. Honey, crazy is thinking you can destroy someone's life without consequences. I'm not crazy. I'm just done being the nice guy. The next morning, I put my plan into motion. If Jennifer and Amanda wanted to paint me as unstable, I'd give them a performance they'd never forget. But first, I needed to set the stage properly. I started by visiting 3 more of Jennifer's startup investors. Not to cause trouble, just to ask innocent questions about the company's financial health. As a concerned husband, surely I had the right to understand my wife's business ventures. The first investor, a local real estate developer named Tom Harrison, was surprisingly candid. Jake, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that company's in serious trouble. We put in $50,000 6 months ago, and it's all gone. Jennifer keeps asking for more money, but the numbers don't add up. What kind of numbers? They're burning through cash faster than they're generating revenue. The business model doesn't work, but Jennifer won't admit it. She keeps talking about breakthrough moments that never come. The second investor was less diplomatic. Your wife's either delusional or dishonest, maybe both. We're writing off our investment and moving on. By noon, I had a clear picture. Jennifer's startup was essentially bankrupt. She'd been misleading investors about the company's prospects, and she was desperately trying to raise more money to keep the illusion alive. The stress of impending failure explained a lot about her recent behavior. But understanding her motivations didn't excuse what she was planning to do to me. I drove home and parked across the street, waiting for the right moment. Jennifer's car was in the driveway, along with Amanda's silver Mercedes. Perfect. I called Jennifer's cell phone. Jake, where are you? I want to talk, face to face. I don't think that's a good idea right now. Jennifer, we've been married 20 years. We owe each other a conversation. There was a pause. I could hear Amanda's voice in the background, though I couldn't make out the words. Okay, Jennifer said finally. But I want Amanda here, as a witness. Fine, I'll be there in 5 minutes. I was already parked outside, but I drove around the block to make it look legitimate. When I knocked on the front door, Amanda answered with the expression of barely concealed excitement. She was enjoying this drama more than anyone should. Jake, Jennifer's in the living room. I found my wife sitting on the couch, hands folded in her lap like a defendant waiting for sentencing. Amanda positioned herself near the kitchen door, close enough to hear everything but far enough away to claim she was just being supportive. Jennifer, I know about the startup. Her face went white. What do you mean? I mean, I know it's failing. I talked to your investors. They told me everything. You had no right. I had every right. We're married. Your financial problems are my financial problems. I sat down across from her, keeping my voice calm and reasonable. How much debt are we talking about? It's not debt exactly. It's just cash flow issues. How much, Jennifer? Amanda stepped forward. Jake, you're interrogating her. This is exactly the kind of behavior. Amanda, this is between me and my wife. Actually, it's not. Amanda pulled out her phone. I'm recording this conversation for Jennifer's protection. I smiled. Perfect. Good. Then you'll have a record of me asking reasonable questions about our family's financial situation. I turned back to Jennifer. The company owes 3 months' rent, hasn't paid several vendors, and you've been taking salary advances while telling investors everything is fine. That's not cash flow issues. That's fraud. It's not fraud. It's creative financing. Creative financing is what people call fraud when they don't want to admit they're committing fraud. Jennifer stood up, agitated. You don't understand business, Jake. Sometimes you have to take risks. I understand business fine. I also understand that when your business fails, you don't get to destroy your marriage as a distraction. I'm not destroying anything. You're the one who made a scene at the party. I made a scene because my wife publicly announced she had a backup husband lined up. How exactly was I supposed to react to that? Amanda moved closer, still recording. Jake, your voice is getting aggressive. My voice is getting louder because I'm frustrated. There's a difference. Is there? Because from where I'm standing, you look like a man who's losing control. I stood up and walked toward Amanda, stopping just close enough to make her uncomfortable. Amanda, let me ask you something. What exactly is your role in all this? I'm supporting my friend. Are you? Or are you orchestrating it? I don't know what you mean. I think you do. I think you've been pushing Jennifer toward Brad, encouraging her to disrespect me publicly, and now you're coaching her on how to make me look unstable. The question is why? Amanda's expression flickered, just for a moment, but I caught it. There was something else going on here. Something personal. You're paranoid, Jake. Am I? Then why are you working so hard to record me acting threatening? Why are you pushing Jennifer to file a police report? What do you get out of destroying my marriage? I'm trying to protect Jennifer from an unstable husband. No, you're not. You're trying to create an unstable husband where none existed. I turned to Jennifer. Has Amanda been coaching you on what to tell the police? Jennifer looked between us, clearly uncomfortable. Jake, please don't... Don't what? Don't ask questions? Don't try to understand why my wife and her best friend are conspiring to frame me for domestic intimidation? Amanda stopped recording. That's enough. Jennifer, call the police, now. Why, Amanda, what crime have I committed? Asking questions? Raising my voice? Standing too close to you? You're being threatening. I'm being direct. If you can't handle directness, maybe you shouldn't involve yourself in other people's marriages. I walked to the door, then turned back. Jennifer, when you're ready to have an honest conversation about our marriage and your business, call me. Amanda, stay out of my way. You won't like what happens if you don't. I left them standing in the living room and drove back to the gym. Phase 1 was complete. I'd given them exactly the kind of confrontation they wanted, but on my terms. Amanda had her recording, but it would show me asking legitimate questions and getting frustrated when they tried to manipulate the situation. More importantly, I'd planted seeds of doubt. Jennifer was already stressed about the business failure. Now she had to wonder what else I knew and who else I'd talked to. My phone buzzed 20 minutes later, text from Emma. Mom called the police. They're coming to talk to you. I texted back. Thanks for the warning. Are you okay? I'm staying at Sarah's tonight. This is getting crazy. 2 hours later, Danny knocked on the gym door. He was in uniform, but his expression was apologetic. Jake, I have to ask you some questions. Official business. I figured. Come on in. We sat in Murphy's office while Danny took out a notepad. Jennifer filed a complaint, says you came to the house, acted aggressively, and made threatening statements. Did she mention that Amanda was there recording the whole thing? She did. Says the recording shows you being intimidating. Danny, you've known me for 30 years. Do I seem like the kind of guy who intimidates women? No, but I have to follow procedure. Tell me what happened. I walked Danny through the conversation, emphasizing the financial questions and Amanda's obvious attempts to provoke a reaction. Danny took notes but didn't seem particularly concerned. Jake, this is pretty thin. Asking about family finances isn't threatening behavior. Getting frustrated when people won't answer isn't a crime. What happens now? I file the report, but honestly, there's nothing here worth pursuing. Jennifer's stressed, her friends stirring up trouble, and you're caught in the middle. Danny closed his notepad. Unofficially, I'd say someone's trying to build a case that doesn't exist. What would you do in my situation? I'd be very careful about any future contact with your wife. And I'd stay as far away from Amanda as possible. She's trouble looking for a place to happen. After Danny left, I sat in the dark gym thinking about next steps. Jennifer and Amanda had played their hand, but it was weaker than they'd hoped. The police weren't going to pursue charges based on one heated conversation, but they weren't done. Amanda was too invested in this drama to give up now. She'd escalate, try something else, push harder. Good. Let her push. Every action she took would reveal more about her real motivations. And when I finally understood what this was really about, I'd be ready to push back. My phone rang. Unknown number. Jake Morrison? Yes. This is Carol Stevens. I have some information you might find interesting about Amanda Richardson. What kind of information? The kind that explains why she's so interested in destroying your marriage. Can you meet me tomorrow morning? Absolutely. Good, because what I found out about your wife's best friend is going to change everything. Carol Stevens met me at a coffee shop downtown, carrying a manila folder that looked like it contained enough information to sink a battleship. She'd done her homework on Amanda Richardson, and the results were more interesting than I'd expected. 3 years ago, Amanda applied for a management position with our company. Carol began, opening the folder. Her resume was impressive, her interview went well, and we were ready to make an offer. What changed? Background check. Amanda had been fired from her previous job for embezzlement. Small amounts over a long period, but theft nonetheless. When we called her references, we got a very different picture than the one she'd painted. Carol slid a printed email across the table. It was from Amanda's former supervisor, detailing a pattern of manipulative behavior, office politics, and financial irregularities that had ultimately led to her termination. She was also involved in breaking up 2 marriages at that company. Seemed to enjoy the drama, according to her former colleagues. Why are you telling me this? Because Amanda blamed you for not getting the job. I looked up from the email. What? Your wife mentioned during the interview process that her husband did security work. Amanda asked if we'd used Morrison Security for our building upgrades. When I said yes, and that you'd done excellent work, Amanda got very interested. Carol pulled out another document. After we rejected her application, Amanda called back 3 times trying to get us to reconsider. During the last call, she suggested that our security contractor might not be as reliable as we thought. She implied you had personal problems that affected your work quality. The pieces were falling into place. She's been planning this for 3 years. It gets better. After that, Amanda started cultivating a closer relationship with Jennifer. Before the job rejection, they were casual acquaintances. Afterward, they became best friends. Amanda started attending Jennifer's business events, giving advice about the startup, encouraging her to be more independent, and steering her toward Brad. Brad was Amanda's idea. She's the one who suggested Jennifer invite him to events. She's the one who kept pointing out how successful and attractive he was compared to... Carol gestured at me. Compared to her boring security contractor husband. Exactly. Amanda's been systematically undermining your marriage for 3 years, waiting for the right moment to destroy it completely. I stared at the documents, feeling a cold anger building in my chest. This wasn't about Jennifer's midlife crisis or her business stress. This was about Amanda's twisted need for revenge over a job rejection. "There's more," Carol said. "Amanda's been feeding information about Jennifer's startup to competitors. She's actively sabotaging the business while pretending to be supportive." "How do you know that?" "Because one of those competitors approached us about office space. During the conversation, they mentioned having inside information about Jennifer's company's financial problems. When I asked how they knew, they said a mutual friend had been keeping them informed." Amanda. Amanda. She's been playing both sides, encouraging Jennifer to make bad business decisions while feeding intelligence to rivals. The startup was probably doomed from the beginning, but Amanda made sure it failed spectacularly. I leaned back in my chair, processing the scope of Amanda's manipulation. She'd spent 3 years orchestrating the destruction of my marriage and Jennifer's business, all because I'd done good work for a company that rejected her job application. "Carol, I need copies of everything. Already made them." She handed me a second folder. "Jake, this woman is dangerous. She's not just vindictive, she's patient and strategic. Whatever you're planning to do, be careful." "I'm not planning to do anything illegal." "I didn't think you were, but Amanda won't stop until she's completely destroyed your life. She's invested too much time and energy to give up now." I spent the rest of the morning reading through Amanda's employment history and the timeline of her friendship with Jennifer. The pattern was clear and damning. Every major problem in my marriage over the past 3 years could be traced back to Amanda's influence. The suggestion that Jennifer needed to be more independent. Amanda's idea. The criticism of my blue-collar work and lack of ambition. Amanda's talking points. The encouragement to reconnect with old boyfriends on social media. Amanda's advice. Even the anniversary party had been Amanda's suggestion. She'd wanted a public venue where she could orchestrate maximum humiliation. My phone buzzed. Text from Jennifer. "We need to talk. Without lawyers, without Amanda. Just us." I stared at the message for a long moment. This could be genuine, or it could be another setup. With Amanda pulling strings, I couldn't trust anything at face value. I texted back, "Neutral location, Riverside Park, 1 hour." "Okay." I arrived at the park early and chose a picnic table in full view of the parking area. If this was an ambush, I wanted to see it coming. Jennifer arrived alone, looking exhausted and older than her 41 years. "Thank you for coming," she said, sitting across from me. "Is Amanda listening to this conversation through your phone?" Jennifer looked surprised. "What? No, why would you think that?" "Because Amanda's been manipulating both of us for 3 years, and I'm not sure you realize how deep it goes." "Jake, Amanda's my friend. She's trying to help. Amanda got you to invite Brad to our anniversary party. Amanda suggested you needed a backup husband. Amanda coached you on filing a police report against me." I pulled out Carol's folder. "Amanda's also been sabotaging your business and feeding information to your competitors." Jennifer's face went pale. "That's not possible." "It's not only possible, it's documented." I slid the employment records across the table. Amanda was fired from her last job for embezzlement and manipulation. She applied to work for one of my clients 3 years ago. When they rejected her because of her background, she blamed me. Jennifer read through the documents, her expression changing from skepticism to horror. "She's been planning this whole thing," I continued. "The business advice that led to bad decisions. The encouragement to be more independent from your reliable husband. The suggestion that you deserved better than a blue-collar security contractor. It was all designed to destroy our marriage." "But why would she do this to me? I thought she was my friend." "Because destroying your marriage wasn't enough. She wanted to destroy your life too. The business failure, the public humiliation, the isolation from friends and family. It's all part of the same plan." Jennifer sat in silence for several minutes, processing the information. When she finally looked up, there were tears in her eyes. "Jake, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I thought she was helping me become stronger, more successful. She was helping you become alone and dependent on her guidance. What do we do now? That depends. Do you want to save our marriage, or do you want to keep following Amanda's advice? I want to save our marriage, but I don't know if that's possible after everything that's happened. I reached across the table and took her hand. Jennifer, I love you. I've loved you for 22 years, but I won't be married to someone who treats me like a backup plan while shopping for an upgrade. I never meant for it to go that far. Amanda kept saying I deserved better, that I was settling for less than I was worth. After a while, I started believing her. And Brad? Jennifer's face flushed red. Nothing happened. I mean, nothing physical. But I was flattered by the attention, and Amanda kept encouraging it. She said it was healthy to have options. Options. I know how that sounds now. At the time, it felt like empowerment. I squeezed her hand. Jennifer, Amanda's not done with us. She's invested 3 years in this plan, and she won't give up just because we figured it out. She's going to escalate. What do you mean? I mean, she's going to try something desperate to finish what she started. We need to be ready for that. Jennifer nodded slowly. What do you want me to do? I want you to go home and act like nothing's changed. Keep talking to Amanda, keep following her advice, but record every conversation. I need to know what she's planning next. Jake, I'm scared. If she's really been manipulating me for 3 years, what else has she done? That's what we're going to find out. But Jennifer, if we're going to get through this, I need to know you're committed to our marriage. Not to the idea of our marriage, not to the comfort of being married, but to actually being my wife. I am. I want to be. Then prove it. Help me stop Amanda before she destroys anyone else's life. Jennifer agreed, but as I watched her drive away, I wondered if it was too late. Amanda had spent 3 years poisoning my wife against me. 3 days of revelation might not be enough to undo that kind of psychological manipulation. But I had to try. Because the alternative was letting Amanda win, and that wasn't going to happen. My phone rang as I was leaving the park. Unknown number again. Jake, it's Amanda. We need to talk. Do we? Oh yes, because I know you've been asking questions about me, and I think it's time we had an honest conversation about your future. What kind of future? The kind where you disappear quietly, and Jennifer gets the fresh start she deserves. Meet me tonight at Murphy's gym. Come alone. The line went quiet. I stared at the phone, realizing that Amanda had just made her first major mistake. She'd revealed that she knew about my investigation, which meant she had sources feeding her information. She'd also escalated to direct confrontation, which meant she was feeling pressured. Most importantly, she'd chosen my territory for the meeting. Murphy's gym was my refuge, my safe space, surrounded by security cameras that I'd installed myself. If Amanda wanted an honest conversation, she was going to get one. But it would be on my terms, not hers. I arrived at Murphy's gym 2 hours early, checking every camera angle and making sure the recording system was functioning perfectly. If Amanda wanted to play games, I'd make sure we had a complete record of whatever she was planning. Murphy was working late, training a young heavyweight who showed promise. You expecting trouble tonight? He asked, noticing my preparations. Maybe. If things get weird, just keep training and let the cameras do their job. You want me to stick around? No, but thanks. This is something I need to handle myself. Amanda arrived exactly on time, wearing a black dress that was too formal for a gym meeting, but perfect for whatever dramatic scene she had in mind. She looked around the space like she was evaluating a crime scene. Atmospheric, she said. Very blue collar. It's honest work. You should try it sometime. Cute. Can we skip the small talk? I have a proposal for you. I'm listening. Amanda walked closer, her heels clicking on the concrete floor. You're going to disappear from Jennifer's life. Permanently. No divorce proceedings, no custody fights, no division of assets. You just leave town and start over somewhere else. And why would I do that? Because if you don't, I'll destroy what's left of your reputation and your business. I'll make sure everyone in this town knows exactly what kind of man you really are. What kind of man am I, Amanda? The kind who threatens women, the kind who can't handle his wife's success, the kind who becomes dangerous when he doesn't get his way. I laughed, but there wasn't any humor in it. You've been planning this speech for 3 years, haven't you? I've been planning your exit for 3 years. The speech is new. Why, Amanda? What did I ever do to you? Her expression shifted, revealing the rage she'd been hiding behind years of manipulation. You cost me a job. A good job that would have changed my life. I installed security cameras in an office building. That's not exactly a character assassination. You did such good work that Carol Stevens couldn't stop praising you. She said you were reliable, trustworthy, professional, everything I wasn't, according to my background check. So you decided to destroy my marriage. I decided to show Jennifer what kind of man she'd really married. A small-minded, unambitious nobody who was holding her back from her potential. And the business sabotage? Amanda smiled, and for the first time I saw the real person behind the mask. Jennifer's startup was always going to fail. She doesn't have the vision or the ruthlessness to succeed in tech. I just made sure it failed spectacularly, while pretending to be her friend. I was her friend. I was the only person honest enough to tell her she deserved better than a life of mediocrity with you. You were manipulating her. I was liberating her. From you, from her delusions about the business, from the comfortable prison of a boring marriage. I stepped closer, and Amanda instinctively backed up. And what was the endgame, Amanda? After you destroyed my marriage and Jennifer's business, what was supposed to happen next? Jennifer was supposed to realize that she needed someone strong to guide her through life. Someone who understood her potential. Someone like you. Someone exactly like me. The pieces clicked into place. This wasn't just about revenge for a job rejection. Amanda was obsessed with Jennifer, had been for years. The marriage destruction, the business sabotage, even the thing with Brad. It was all designed to isolate Jennifer and make her dependent on Amanda's guidance. You're in love with her, I said. Amanda's face flushed red. Don't be ridiculous. That's what this is really about. You've been in love with Jennifer for years, and you couldn't stand watching her be happy with someone else. You think she was happy with you? Jake, your wife has been miserable for years. She just didn't have the courage to admit it until I helped her see the truth. The truth, according to Amanda. The truth, according to reality. Jennifer is beautiful, intelligent, and ambitious. You're a middle-aged security contractor who peaked in high school. She was settling, and I helped her realize it. By lying to her for 3 years. By showing her possibilities she'd never considered. My phone buzzed. Text message. I glanced at it quickly. It was from Jennifer, sent from outside the gym. Recording everything. Keep her talking. I looked back at Amanda, who was watching me with predatory intensity. So what happens now? I asked. I disappear, Jennifer's business collapses, and she turns to you for comfort and guidance? Something like that. And you really think she'll never figure out what you did? People believe what they want to believe, Jake. Jennifer wants to believe that her marriage failed because you weren't good enough for her. She wants to believe that her business failed because of market conditions. She wants to believe that I'm the loyal friend who helped her through difficult times. What about Brad? Amanda waved dismissively. Brad was a distraction, a way to make Jennifer feel desirable while highlighting your inadequacies. He served his purpose. Which was? To give Jennifer a taste of what she could have with a successful man. To make her realize that she'd been wasting her life with you. Except Brad wasn't interested in anything serious. Brad was interested in what all men are interested in, but Jennifer needed to learn that lesson for herself. I walked toward the heavy bag hanging in the center of the gym, putting some distance between us while staying within camera range. Amanda, let me ask you something. Do you really think Jennifer's going to choose you over everyone else in her life? Jennifer doesn't have anyone else in her life. Her business is gone, her marriage is over, her daughter barely speaks to her, and her other friends have all heard about the public humiliation at the anniversary party. I'm all she has left. That's not friendship. That's hostage-taking. That's reality. Jennifer needs someone strong to take care of her, and I'm the only person who's been there through everything. You've been there because you orchestrated everything. Amanda's mask slipped completely, revealing the obsessive, manipulative person underneath. I've been there because I love her more than anyone else ever has, or ever will. More than you, more than Brad, more than her own family. Does Jennifer know how you feel about her? She will, when she's ready to hear it. And if she's not interested? Amanda's expression turned cold. Everyone's interested in something, Jake. It's just a matter of finding the right leverage. Like you found leverage against me. Exactly like that. I heard a car door slam outside, followed by footsteps approaching the gym entrance. Amanda heard it too and turned toward the sound. Jennifer walked in, followed by Danny in his police uniform, followed by Carol Stevens carrying what looked like a legal document. Amanda's face went white. What is this? This is the end of your 3-year manipulation campaign, I said. Jennifer's been recording our conversation from outside. Danny's here because conspiracy to file false police reports is a crime. And Carol's here because her company is pressing charges for the information you've been stealing and sharing with competitors. Amanda looked between the four of us, realizing that her carefully constructed plan was collapsing in real time. Jennifer, she said, her voice taking on a pleading tone, you don't understand. Everything I did was for you, to help you become the person you were meant to be. Jennifer stepped forward, her phone still recording. Amanda, I heard everything. The job rejection, the 3-year plan, the business sabotage, all of it. I was protecting you from a life of mediocrity. You were destroying my life because you couldn't handle your own rejection. Amanda's composure cracked completely. I love you, Jennifer. I've loved you for years. Everything I did was because I wanted what was best for you. What was best for me was having a friend I could trust. Instead, I had a manipulator who spent 3 years lying to me. Danny stepped forward. Amanda Richardson, you're under arrest for conspiracy to file a false police report and industrial espionage. As Danny read Amanda her rights, she kept staring at Jennifer with a mixture of desperation and rage. This isn't over, she said. You'll realize I was right about him, about everything. It's over, Amanda, Jennifer replied. It's been over since the moment I found out what you really are. After the police car pulled away, the 3 of us stood in the gym parking lot under the October stars. Carol excused herself, leaving Jennifer and me alone for the first time since the anniversary party. I'm sorry, Jennifer said, for all of it. For believing her, for treating you like you were disposable, for not seeing what was happening. We both got manipulated. The difference is, you were willing to see the truth when it was presented to you. What happens now? I looked at my wife, really looked at her for the first time in months. She was exhausted, humiliated, and probably facing financial ruin, but she was also free from Amanda's influence for the first time in 3 years. Now we figure out if there's anything left worth saving. Is there? That depends. Are you ready to be married to a blue-collar security contractor who peaked in high school? Jennifer smiled for the first time in weeks. I never thought you peaked in high school. That's a start. We walked to our cars, and for the first time in months, the future felt like something we might face together instead of apart. Amanda was gone, her manipulation exposed, her 3-year plan in ruins. It wasn't a happy ending exactly. We still had a marriage to rebuild, a business failure to deal with, and a daughter to reconnect with. But it was an honest ending, which was more than we'd had in years. Sometimes that's enough to build on.